Hello from the sidelines of the World Government Summit here in Dubai. Welcome to Arabiya News. I'm here with Almar Latour, who is the CEO of Dow Jones and Company. Very warm welcome to you. Of course, amongst other titles, Dow Jones is the publishing firm behind the Wall Street Journal, MarketWatch, Financial News. Dow Jones is, of course, owned by News Corp. So it's great to have you with us. Welcome to the region. The Middle East has seen some major transformations in recent years, economically speaking in particular. I'd just like to ask you what you've seen and what you feel when you come here in terms of that transformation.
Well, let me start right there. There is a tremendous sense of energy, of innovation. There's a real vibe of the possible that I'm picking up wherever I go here. Over the past few days, we spent time here at the World Government Summit. There's a lot of deal making happening, a lot of future forward thinking and talking and doing, and that's unique. That vibrancy. Travel all over the world. Those happen at special moments in time when there's a confluence of capital, of ideas, of a sense of the possible, and a global stage that's enabling it. And so that's really remarkable, and that's why I'm here the third time in 14 months.
And obviously diversification away from dependency on oil is a big mantra in many countries in the region. What are you reporting on, for example, in the Wall Street Journal? What sort of sectors are you seeing that transition in most prevalently?
Yeah, so for the newsroom, our reporters and editors have to decide that on a day-by-day basis. But here are the things that are important to us. Anything that moves the global business community forward. And so, of course, that's energy and all the changes that take place in the field of energy. Technology, which is a huge part here of the World Government Summit, of Dubai, of Abu Dhabi, of the region. AI within that, which has such an enormous impact on the world right now, and the region and the UAE here right now play a very special role inside that in accommodating energy, but also technology and entrepreneurship. There's a lot of capital flowing in, so we're at the core of business and finance, a publishing house and information service really to help people make decisions. And so there's a lot of capital flowing into this region, a lot of capital coming out. There's just a lot of interaction on the business scene, and that's where we gravitate. We need to be here to inform businesses here and decision makers here, whether you are in the middle of your career and you want to understand how do I advance, how do I build a business, how do I advance my career, or whether you're a decision maker running a company or running a part of a government. We are going to help you make those decisions by offering you reliable information. That's one. Two, we have to inform the outside world as to what's going on here, and you can't really appreciate it unless you're on the ground, and you know that yourself. You've been here 7 months?
Yes, indeed, but you haven't mentioned crypto, and I thought you'd have mentioned it a bit earlier on. Are you seeing this region become something of a global hub for cryptocurrency exchanges, for cryptocurrencies themselves?
Well, clearly there's a lot of activity around it, and it being an important factor in financial life. There being a lot of unanswered questions still as to what, for example, the US administration is going to do around it, and whether it will be enabling for crypto to take a firmer hold, which is part of the expectation. We are going to narrate that. We're going to emphasize that. I put that under the bucket of capital and technology and innovation, and so it's definitely something that we are paying close attention to.
Okay, so that's the economic side of things in terms of the influence of the Middle East region. Geopolitically, how are you seeing the evolution of the importance of this region?
Yeah, clearly the region and the world really is at some pivot point. There's a lot of action that happened in the past couple of weeks, and we are doing exactly what we need to do, which is to report the facts, to help create an understanding as to what is happening in Washington, what the latest thinking is there. We have done that for more than a century, and so we understand, our reporters understand, our analysts understand, our employee base understands that this is a very special moment in time, and there's a lot of movement. You got, again, this confluence of circumstances where there is an administration that is ready to act, that is moving forward on the geopolitical front, but also on the domestic front. You don't see action like this very often. And we've sensed that. You've been here all week. You've sensed that even this week in the response to various thoughts that are coming out of Washington.
Just before we move on from talking about the Middle East region, I just want to ask you whether Dow Jones and Company has any plans to expand in this region.
Oh, well, thank you for asking that. We absolutely do. We've already announced recently that we are expanding a presence in Qatar. We are bringing one of our franchises, WSJ Tech Live, to the region to help explain the tech story. We have a beautiful office here in Dubai, and there is a realization that if we want to reflect the world as it is, we need to rebalance our portfolio and make sure that the Gulf region is properly represented, which is part of the reason why I'm coming a lot, why a lot of colleagues are coming as well. And so we anticipate a very fruitful journey forward. Wherever there's action, wherever the business community is active, and certainly as intensely as here, that's where we come in. This is like our sweet spot, and so expect us to be more vociferous and more present with facts and analysis.
You are a career journalist and a media executive. You've mentioned artificial intelligence already. Is this something you think we journalists and the media should perhaps be worried about? Does it threaten us?
I don't want to approach new technology as a threat. I've covered technology as a reporter. I've covered the rise of mobile technology and the implications, the wide implications that it has had for all of us. I was a tech bureau chief, and so I am paying very close attention to what it's doing to journalism. There are a couple of things that need to be sorted out. One, your company, my company, a lot of media companies have built up archives, have built up basically intellectual property or unique reporting. Costs money, we're investing in that. That's why people tune into you. That's why people come to the Wall Street Journal or come to Barron's. We have to make sure that that doesn't just get hoovered up by a platform for use in a learning model. And so the way we are responding to that is to say, let's make commercial deals and make sure that the value of that is addressed. If the value of that is not addressed and still we believe that our content is not being used in an appropriate way, then we will take action in court, as we already have done. That's one part, and I would say that is just a precondition, but it's not the only part. There's efficiency and then new products, and that's where the excitement is.
Yeah, but I mean, you say you've covered other technological advances over the years, but this one is so different in the sense that it can actually do our jobs for us as journalists. Therefore, you know, a lot of people will be thinking AI is a major threat to journalists and therefore to journalism.
Well, I think it will create a lot of space and a lot of efficiency. For example, I had to give a talk the other day in a different language, and normally, like if you have to translate that, or if you're fluent in language, it takes a while to translate that. To do it like that is actually very enabling. It created a lot more time, so I could make sure that whatever I was communicating, it was even more precise, more sophisticated, and it created bandwidth. Now, it's similar for working in a newsroom, whether you're translating or whether you're working on a story. You can take some monotonous jobs, make them shorter, make them faster, so you can focus on the value add. So that's what I think will work like for journalists on the ground, but that's also how it works for the value chain. Namely, if we can focus on creating premium products that have very, very deep proprietary data, unique reporting. This is not going to go away, the ability to connect human to human and extract something of real value. If you can focus on that, do more of that, and then resurface it with AI in new ways, then I believe that there's a lot of value. We've already launched several new products that are generative AI driven. Those are driving profitable business for us. We expect that to continue.
Earlier this week, of course, there was the AI summit in Paris. The UK and the United States decided not to sign this international agreement on AI at that summit. Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance, was there, said too much regulation would stifle growth in this brand new sector. Is he right?
Well, it's not my job to review the Vice President of the United States. I'll leave that to our opinion pages. I'll leave it to our reporters to assess what the Vice President has said there. As a business leader, I want to make sure that we have enough bandwidth to do the things that are accretive, that are going to help our customers, but I also want to make sure that what we have built so painstakingly over the years is protected. And so those are the two angles that I would look at, but let the politicians figure things out.
So just to sum up our discussion about AI, is the Wall Street Journal, are the Dow Jones Company publications embracing it, would you say, or feeling somewhat intimidated by it?
No, we are embracing it. People are experimenting with it, but we're also building and we're investing in it. And there's really no way to sidestep this. You cannot allow an organization to be built for the past. You got to build it for the future, and everybody's got to lean into that. That's true for us. It's true for our newsroom. It's true for our data scientists. It's true for our B2B products. And so across the board, we are very heavily leaning into it.
You joined the Wall Street Journal in 1995.
You're revealing that to the world?
The very beginnings of the internet, of course, 1995.
Yes.
And you've seen an incredible transformation of our industry over these last precisely 30 years. Are you concerned at the moment about press freedoms? And with regard to press freedoms, I'm particularly interested to see how you feel about how things are shaping up in the United States.
Yeah, so press freedom is a priority for us. Obviously, we had, as you have followed yourself, we had a reporter who was incarcerated. We believe that, strongly believe that he was wrongfully detained. I and so many others fought hard to make sure that he would eventually be released. And so that alone gave us a spotlight at a very personal level as to the sacrifices that some journalists make to tell a story and share facts. And so that's incredibly important to make sure that that's supported and underscored.
And for the benefit of our viewers, if you could just let us know who you're talking about.
This is Evan Gershkovich. He was a reporter who wrote about Russia. Very accomplished, a lot of foresight in his reporting, and he luckily was released last year after a year and a half of being incarcerated.
That's obviously in Russia, but what about in the United States? Are you seeing any shift in terms of press freedoms? Are you having to do more to protect your journalists in an environment where if you say something someone doesn't like, and I'm talking about people in senior levels of governance in the country, they risk lawsuits?
Yeah, I have repeatedly said that we should not embrace hysteria around this. I think we've got to focus on the facts. We've got to focus on reporting. We got to do that day by day. There's a lot to cover. If the press or people at the Wall Street Journal, if we make a mistake, we have to correct, and that's an age-old policy, and that's what we have to live by. That's the contribution that we make to society, and we got to just commit to that. So we're investing in journalism, in fact-based journalism. We think that reliable information is just something pretty unique these days that adds value to people's lives and to their decision-making power. If people disagree with what we write, then if we believe that we're right, then we will back our reporters, back our reporting, and if that has to happen in a court of law, then we have done that many times.
And in this era of fake news, disinformation, misinformation, all of it, of course, amplified by social media, obviously accurate reporting is more important than ever before. Do you think there's been a breakdown in trust between the public and the media? And if so, what are you doing about it?
Yeah, I think the best thing you can do about it is owning up to mistakes and being factual and prove again and again that you are contributing to people's understanding, not taint factual reporting with opinion. Make clear that opinion, in our case, opinions and a forum of opinions is clearly separated from news. And so that's how we make our contribution in the area that we control, and that's the biggest contribution that we can make.
So in your capacity as CEO of Dow Jones, do you see it as your role to try and fix this breakdown in trust?
I see it as our role to contribute to an understanding of society, to make sure that factual reporting is spread far and wide. I also see that as a business leader, I see that as a tremendous business opportunity, because there's a lot of doom and gloom around media, including around trust, but the demand for reliable information is huge, which is why we had our best year in history last year, because so many people actually want reliable news. And so if you are if you are capable of delivering reliable news, then you can meet that demand, and there's an outsized opportunity. And the more noise there is, the more you stand out, and in that sense, it's very good times for us.
Okay, well, reassuring words there on the future of our industry, the media. Thank you very much indeed for taking the time to speak to us. Almar Latour, the CEO of Dow Jones, thank you very much indeed to you. And thanks to you for watching. Do stay with us here on Al Arabiya News.